I'm a firm believer of, like, if you put in a positive message into your head, that's going to help you to speak out a positive message. If you're putting things that aren't so positive in there, that's not always a good thing.
Music and life to the full.
xRhythms.
From the start of our conversation, you brought up that these MCs, the way they could put so much into such a short phrasings and in a short space of time, did that directly influence the way you write, or do you think you've kind of got a heavier leaning to, this is how I want to do it, I don't want to do it like anyone else, I want to do it like I want to do it?
Yeah, I think with every artist, if you look at every single artist throughout history, they will always say that they've had somebody that inspired them. I think take Eminem, for example. A big inspiration for him, I think, was the Beastie Boys. Any of the artists that you're listening to, you can always tell because they all have a slightly different way that they present their lyrics, or their flow is different, their cadence, etc. So, yeah, I think that is probably where I'm at. Inspired by the people that came before me, but also trying to do my own thing as well. Which I think as an artist, you can only be yourself. As a human being, you can only be yourself, can't you?
Is it more important to you to have that faith-based lyricism, or is it more important to have that positive message, and if that positive message comes from a place of faith, then use it?
Yeah, I think, the kids today, we all need a positive message, don't we? And my writing always is centered around my faith. My beliefs, yeah? So Christianity will always play a central part to what I do in life, and that goes into when I'm creating music. Keeping myself centered on my faith is one of my main priorities, but also giving that message that is more positive. You know, I'm not here to rap about drugs or women or any of that kind of nonsense, because to me, like I said earlier, it's not a good message, and I've lived that lifestyle, and it's not a good lifestyle either. So, but then I also do like to have, there's a song that I've got on Spotify that I like to have a bit of a play around with just the metaphors and punchlines, and not be too sort of serious as well, you know. So
I think recently, like in a lot of genres of music, there are more breakthroughs from Christian artists no longer being just Christian artists. Do you think that could be because of their messages, their positivity, and the fact that they're not doing it like everyone else?
Yeah, I reckon once you've, I don't know, let's just use playing computer games for an example. If you play the same computer game day after day after day after day after day after day, eventually you kind of get a bit bored with it because it's the same thing. And you could liken that to, say, hip-hop. If you listen to the same artists who are just giving you the same thing, just regurgitated in a slightly different way, that can get repetitive. If you listen to someone like NF, who's got, he's bringing you a message, he's dealing with real-life issues that people can relate to. And I guess perhaps Christian artists are breaking through into mainstream because they're delivering a message that, you know, me, you, and anybody else can relate to.
Okay, so moving on to the last question. This is a question I ask everyone I've interviewed, and it is the time machine question.
Yeah.
So you get blessed with a time machine, and this time machine can take you back 10 years.
Okay.
You get to give yourself one piece of advice. What is that piece of advice?
That piece of advice, I tell my younger self to believe in yourself. Stay focused. If you feel that God's told you something to do, for example, if you're a Christian, if he's told you something to do, that means he's going to do it. It might not happen how you think it will happen or when it will happen, but if you keep staying focused on him, it will happen.
Awesome. Well, Elijahretro, thank you so much for doing this interview with us.
Pleasure, mate.
Before we go, tell the people at home where we can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Elijahretro on Spotify, on Insta, on Facebook, Twitter as well. So yeah, just search up at Elijahretro and you'll find me on most of the major platforms then.
Thank you once again. It has been amazing talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate your time.
And for you guys at home, until next time.